Guys, we are in the basement, and yes, the arcade is turned off, guys, and I'm gonna tell you something. We are not gonna turn this arcade back on ever again until the Robotron is working, and we're gonna do it in this video right here. At least that's my hope. And you know, it's been dead now for almost 2 weeks, and I know what the problem is. We have a burnt up connector on the power supply. Basically, the power in header and molex connector are burnt up, and so we're gonna replace it quickly in this video, and I mean quickly because, well, for one, it's 6:30, okay? It's 6:30 p.m., and my buddy Matt McCarthy is gonna be here at 7:30, so I wanna have this done in the row. I wanna turn the arcade on, and we're gonna play Robotron before Matt gets here. And also because I'm just sick of looking at it. So anyway, let's just get to work here. So here's what I picked up. I went to Great Plain Electronics, and I picked up some 0.156 molex connectors, okay, and some 0.156 headers, and some 0.156 pins. These are trifurcon and also the flat pins, and I'll explain that in a little bit here. But for now, what I want to do first, I think, is I want to, well, actually, I should show you guys what the problem is, and then we're just gonna kind of dive into this. I want to do this really, really fast, and I mean it. Like, I just want to get this over with. I'm sick of it. So all right, here's our housings for the pins here, and right here. So I'm not sure how many we need, but again, it's 0.156. Anyway, let's go over to the game here, and I'll show you guys what's going on and what the problem is and all that good stuff. So the game has been resetting like crazy, okay? And basically the game would work. Sometimes it would not work other times, and I kind of thought it was the battery, but I totally misdiagnosed the problem. The power is this header pin. The problem is the header pin, and I'll show you guys right here. So down here is the power supply. This is the original Williams power supply. And this pin right here, this header, this connector right here basically brings power from the transformer to the power supply, okay? And this thing here is basically converting the AC to DC, and then it gives us the needed voltages. And actually, when I turned the game on, and I showed this in an unlisted video, this top LED right here, that's for 5 volts. The other two, I don't know, maybe one's 12 and one's -5, but the top one is for 5 volts. And so when I turned the game on, these two LEDs are lit, but the top LED is not lit. And so when it's not lit, the game doesn't boot. And then sometimes it is lit and the game boots. And what I found was that if I wiggled this connector right here, I could get the top LED to come on. So I pulled the connector off to look at what was going on, and here's what I found. It's burnt. See that? Because they use these round pins here, okay? And they're really horrible. And Williams and a lot of games from this era use these round pins, and they're just really cheap, and there's not a lot of surface area because they're round. So basically you have a flat surface, the pin and the connector, touching a round surface, the pin there, and there's just not a lot of surface area. And so what happens is over time, these start corroding, okay, getting dirty, getting gunked up, and you start getting resistance, okay, and then heat, and then stuff starts burning like this. And so if you ever see a burnt connector like that, you have to replace it. You just have to replace the pins on the header, and then also the connector here. And again, this is 0.156. These are molex connectors and pins here. Now, it does look like someone actually already replaced this connector, but they did not replace the pins. So the problem basically stuck around. So this time, we're going to replace the pins and the connector, and that way we have fresh pins that are going to be square, not round, more surface area. We're going to use trifurcon pins, which have more surface area. So we're going to have, just in general, a better connection, and it shouldn't burn up ever again. And again, I think they replaced this connector because Williams from the factory was using these types of connectors here, which are called insulation displacement connectors. And basically, the person that was building these harnesses, they would just kind of push the wire in there, and there was like a little V that kind of stripped the insulation. And these are also have a bad reputation, but it looks like someone already tried replacing these to fix this issue. I suspect it happened before, but again, because they didn't replace the pins, the problem really hung around. So here's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna do this connector first. Let's get this over with. This is gonna be the worst part of it. So let me figure out a way to put the tripod here. And we certainly have done these types of connectors before. what I was saying here is that on the Pac-Man, we did this kind of work before where we kind of basically repinned the whole edge connector. And so we're going to do the same kind of thing with this little molex here, where we're basically cutting the wires and then moving them from the old connector to the new connector using new pins, okay? And again, the type of pins we're using are trifurcon pins, okay? And these kind of pins are different than just the flat pins that you would normally use like on an edge connector, okay? And what's different about them is that they kind of hug the pin, okay? They hug the header pin, so you basically have more surface area making contact, because again, originally it was just a round pin with a flat blade, whereas the trifurcon pins, if you guys could see here, there's actually extra surface area there. You see that? On the top, it's not flat, okay? So when the pin makes contact with the header pin, it actually kind of grabs it. And see that? How it actually stays on? Because now it's making contact on this side, and then on the left, and then on the right, and then on this side to some degree. So you almost have a full 360 degrees of connection instead of just having connection on only one side. So I think that if we use these trifurcon pins and then put these square headers in here, I don't think we'll ever have an issue again with this. So I did actually already cut the wire down here on this because I started filming and realized it wasn't recording. So I'll have to kind of just talk about this again, even though I started doing it. So this is a 15-pin connector. I went into my my connectors that we bought, and I grabbed a 15-pin right here. Okay, so we have a 15-pin replacement molex header right here, okay? And this is 15-pin too. Now, what you can do is buy larger ones, you know, 20, 24 pin and cut them down. I used to do that, actually. I would just cheap out, and instead of buying these all in different lengths, I would just buy the biggest ones I could and cut them down as needed. It's a bit of a pain, but you could totally do it. So anyway, one thing to note here is that there's a little ridge here, okay? Do you see this little ridge? And this is designed to lock into the little fin that's on the top of the header pins. And if we zoom in over here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So on the top here, there's a little piece of plastic, okay? And that little rib's supposed to lock underneath it, okay? So there is kind of a direction to this. So we want to make sure that when we're transferring the wires from the old connector to the new connector, that we're observing the direction properly. So it actually is going to go like this. So I already cut the black wire off right here, okay? And now we're ready to crimp our trifurcon pin, excuse me. So I'm going to take my molex crimpers, okay, and yes, these are Buffett's. Thanks, Buffett. I still have them. Be sure to go to Arcade Buffett and support him and have him repair your monitor. You can ship monitor chassis. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm sticking this into the A slot, okay, and I'm crimping it down just so the pin is in there, okay? And I already stripped my wire back, and I did not strip a lot of it off, only about a 1/16 of an inch, okay? You don't want a lot, okay? And so basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here, and let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. I'll try to show this the best I can. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here, let me just we're gonna stick our wire into the connector with a little bit of the insulation going in, like so, and then just crimp it down, and then take a look at your work afterwards, okay? And so the secret to doing this, though, is that you're crimping down basically two parts here. The back part's supposed to grab the insulation, okay? And then the next one you crimp down is supposed to grab the wire, okay? And that's how it's supposed to look. So you only want, you could see the part that's supposed to grab the wire is only about a 1/16 of an inch. So you only want to strip back the wire about a 1/16 of an inch. And then, again, it's going to go in here like this. So let's go ahead and drop this in our new connector. And you want to do this one at a time, just so you can keep track of what's what. So we got the first one done. So I'll do the first few of these with you guys, and then I'm gonna just kind of cruise through this and just do this as fast as possible, because it's 10 to 7. Matt McCarthy's gonna be here in 40 minutes about. So I gotta cruise here. All right, so let's do the next one. So the next one's green, okay? And it skips a hole. Okay, so it goes into the third one. It's actually green and gray. So let's go ahead and cut it. And then I'm going to strip back about 1/16 of an inch. And by the way, this wire is heavier because it's power. And so the pins I got are for, what gauge was it? It was the heavier gauge. If you go to Great Plains, I think it's 15 to 18 gauge. If you go to Great Plains, they basically have two different kinds of pins. And I got the ones for the heavier gauge wire. Okay, so the green one is stripped back, and we gotta remember where it goes. Let me get a pin. Where's my bag of pins? Right here. This is fun, guys. I you know, this is the kind of busy work that I don't really enjoy, to be honest, but we gotta do it. And I have to do something similar right now with the Tempest. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my connector in A, okay? And then let's take our wire. You guys can see it, and I'm just kind of sneaking it in here so the insulation is just barely in the connector. All right, and this wire is a little heavier, and then crimp it down all the way. All right, that looks good. All right, and let's slide that in. This one goes in the third slot. Okay. So we're cruising along here. Let's do another one together. All right, so the next one goes in the 5th slot. And you can see I'm just doing one wire at a time. You got to just keep track of what you're doing. Don't cut them all off at once. So let's strip the wire back. Okay. And let's just cut this so we only have about 1/16 of an inch exposed. Let's get a pin in our crimper. This is actually the worst part of the whole thing. So let's go ahead and just get that started in there like so. And let's take our wire. I'm just making sure the camera still sees me. My hands. Kind of jam that in there. All right, let's take a look at our work here. That looks good. Okay, so this one goes in the 5th one. Like so. Okay. All right, so we've done 3 of these so far, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the next 6, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, I got all the header pins in there, and let me just kind of show you what's going on. So we replaced them all. It really wasn't that hard at all. It took me about, I don't know, 10 minutes total to do all these. So it looks good. Of course, I really paid attention. I did one wire at a time and made sure they're all in the right spot, so we're ready to go. So now we need to put the header pins on. Now, there is one thing that I do want to do, though, because you could see here that there's a pin missing, okay? And it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th pin has a space. And I want to take advantage of that and put a little key on our molex so that we can't put that in the wrong way when we're done. And so I picked up these little guys here, okay? And these are keying plugs, 0.156. And so we're going to put it in the 7th hole, and it's going to prevent us from putting our molex in the wrong way because the 7th hole will be blocked, okay? And that's where that, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's kind of take a look here, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7's blank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7's blank. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this down in here. All right, so you guys can see that. Let me just kind of zoom in here and show you what's going on. maybe. All right, so you can see right here, right there. Oh, for God's sakes. I need a camera operator. All right, right here. The 7th one has a plug in it, so that when we put the header on the same way with the blank spot, this can only go in one way now, okay? All right, so let's get the soundboard off and bring it to the garage. We're gonna solder a new header on there, and then we should be pretty much done. So I'm just gonna come in here. We're not gonna do any of the other connectors right now, okay? I just wanna fix what's broken, and that's the power connector, so I'm not messing around with anything else in this video. We're not gonna cap this. I have an Ian Kellogg John's Arcade cap kit for this power supply, but we're not doing it in this video. I just don't have the time, and I just want to get this game up and running, so we're only fixing what is broken, okay? That's all I'm doing in this video, which is those header pins. So let's unscrew our power supply, and you got 2 screws here. Supposed to be 4. Two are missing apparently. All right, so here's our power supply, and again, we're not capping it. That's not what I'm doing in this video. We're just going to get the game going and make it reliable again. But you know, we should be replacing this filter cap here, which is actually, the bigger the cap, usually the longer they last. But there's a couple filter caps here. I've got an Ian Kellogg John's Arcade branded cap kit. We're not going to mess around with that. So let's look at this. By the way, this was the pin that was bad here, and it's a cold solder joint, looks like. See that? Yeah, it totally is. So when they say cold solder joint, so basically this solder joint here is bad, and I'm wiggling the pin here, and I could think I'm wiggling it also on this side. So this thing in general was just flaky as all heck. So this pin didn't have good solder connection on the back. It's round. You know, it's corroded, it's gunked up, it's burnt up. So this ground wire here was just flaky as all hell. And, you know, we could have maybe fixed it if we reflowed the solder on here, but you know what? We're not going to just do that. Let's replace everything, because, you know, Robotron's a keeper, guys. We got to do it right here. And, but it does look like we have a cold solder joint. Anyway, all right, let's go to the garage and do the soldering quick. It's 7:10. All right, guys, we're in the garage. It's a mess out here. And by the way, like fall, I mean, it feels like fall, guys. I mean, it really feels like fall right now, and I'm a little scared because I got a lot of projects going on. So anyway, I got my Hakko heating up, and this is a desoldering iron. It's the Hakko FR300. I love it. I use it all the time. I used to use a solder pullet. There's nothing wrong with solder pullet. You can use that too to desolder this. Trying to find my solder pullet so I can show you. So basically, we got to heat up the pins and pull them out. And again, you can use a solder pullet or you can use a desoldering iron. I'm going to use the desoldering iron. I think I actually might need to, let's see if these will go on these pins here. So this is the connector here that we're getting rid of. So I'm just going to come in. I'm not adding any new solder. A lot of times when I do this, I'll add new solder. I just want to see how this behaves without it first. And we're going to have to kind of just pull these out one at a time. And this Hakko is a lifesaver, guys. If you don't do it this way, you basically need to use a soldering iron. You heat it up with the soldering iron, then you take the Hakko. You take the solder pullet and pull it off. You suck the solder off. So I want to get this off at one shot. And we got this plastic on here that is kind of holding these pins in. The pins in, so it's kind of complicating things. So we can't necessarily pull one pin out at a time. I mean, you can, but you have to basically pull it out through that plastic because the pins go through that plastic thing that we're not going to use anymore, by the way. I know that I was paying attention to the direction of that, but we're not even going to use that. So I'm trying to find some needle nose pliers here. that we can use to pull these pins out, assuming I got them desoldered properly. So let's see if I can just kind of leverage these out of here. And yeah, so there's no solder on that at all. So let me see if I can just pull this out. Yeah, and I just broke the pin. I think I can pry that plastic thing off of there. I'm trying to do this so I'm not too barbaric here. I need a nice flat screwdriver. 714. Okay, here's a nice flat screwdriver. Let's see if we can just kind of pry this up here. So, all right, these are coming off now. Don't ruin the traces, John. All right, I actually got smart here and went and grabbed a vise. So, this is definitely the way to do it here. So I'm just heating on the one side and pulling out on the other. And they just come right off. Actually, the whole thing just popped off. Look at that. Alright, so the whole thing just fell off there from our desoldering on the other side here. So we made a bit of a mess. It's not too bad. So let me clean up these holes down here. Like this doesn't look clear. I have to add a little bit of solder on that. So that wasn't too bad. I kind of hacked. No, I didn't hack it, but it wasn't graceful in the beginning there. I fully admit. I haven't actually done any of these header pins in quite some time. So, what's the lesson here? Get a vise. Alright. Okay, those all look really clear there. Okay, and you could see again where I scratched it with the screwdriver. I know. Alright, that all looks good. So I'm going to turn off the desoldering iron. Let's plug in the soldering iron now. It's 725. Can we do it? All right, did I not bring the header pins out here? Yes, I did. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, so remember, number 7, pin 7 was blank here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is blank. I just want to double check that these holes are all equally clear, and they are. So these types of headers don't have that little plastic guard. So we need to cut it right here. And this is also longer than we need it to be. So it needs to, we're going to cut it right here. So we need to be 15 pins. Okay, so let's see how this fits on here. It's a tight fit, but it fits. Now we need to take out the 7th one though. We can cut it, I guess. Now let's remove. Should we cut it or remove it? Yeah, why don't we do 6? Here's what we'll do. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the 7th one's going to be blank. Okay, and it was from this side right here. All right. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one is blank. And then on this side, we need to just cut it so there's one missing. What do you guys think about this technique? Is that all right for leaving the gap? Alright, they're in. This one does not want to go in. So this pin right here is being stubborn, doesn't want to go down. There we go. Now we went too far down. God darn it. Alright, there we go. I'm relatively even here. Okay, so we have our header pins in. We have a pin missing in the 7th slot. That's for our key. And all right, we're ready to reflow. We're ready to flow the solder onto these. So let's go ahead and do it. So I'm just taking my Weller and I'm going to go right across here. Just going to do like kind of tack the outside ones down. And we got to be careful that we don't bridge adjacent pins if the intention is for them not to be bridged. Like these two here, I could see they share a common ground or whatever. So these two are bridged. And if you're not sure, use your multimeter on continuity to make sure that the two adjacent pins aren't touching if they're not supposed to be. And basically I'm just heating up the pin and I'm coming on the other side with my solder till it kind of just sucks to it. Okay. Heat. All right. Kind of get in there and really show you guys what's going on. And these pins are fairly large parts, so it might require a little more heat than you're used to if you're just doing capacitors. Alright, so that's it. Alright, let's kind of double check our work here. Everything looks pretty good. So while we have the board out though, let's reflow the other header pins, okay? So let's reflow all these and all these, because we know, or we saw what we thought were cold solder joints. So we might as well take care of these ones too since we got the board out. This is just preventative maintenance. And I'm just heating up the old solder and adding just a little bit of solder to it. And this just takes a second, and you might as well do it while you got it out. You know, we don't suspect the other connectors to be bad at this time. And right now, really, I should be replacing all these headers. But I'm just kind of doing this down and dirty because I got stuff to do tonight. And I just want to get the game up and running. So these are all touching all these pins here. A lot of really old solder here that just doesn't want to flow. Okay. This looks a little suspect. Alright, so I'm just reflowing everything here. All right. This one doesn't look too hot. Okay. So then we got these guys here that are all blobbed together. Ouch. So I'm really uncomfortable. I'm just kind of hunched over this thing, standing. I really should be sitting on a chair doing this. So these are all just the same connection here next to each other. So I can be relatively sloppy at those. Alright. So those are all done. So let's take care of these ones right here and then we're done. These ones look like they're kind of light on solder here. I don't really think the solder evaporates over time. It didn't look like a very strong connection though. Okay, so everything's reflowed. We have new headers in. Just kind of straightening my pins out here. This connector was a pain to get out. And we're going to leave these round pin connectors in here for now on the other connections. But we should replace these later. Today, the purpose was to get the game back up and running, fixing what was definitely burnt up. And let's just kind of take a peek around here. Everything looks good. Let's double check our work again. All looks good. Reflows over here look good. Nothing here visually looks like it's bridged unless it's supposed to be. And all right, all looks good. I think that we're ready to go inside and test this. I'll probably take my multimeter too and just make sure I didn't accidentally bridge anything. But just kind of looking at it, I think we did okay. All right, let's go back in the basement and give it a shot. It is 7:35. Matt's late. Thank God. All right, we're back in the basement. It is 7:40. Matt's not here. He's late, but I'm pretty much done, assuming my work was good, okay? Yeah, I know. It was a little hairy getting those pins out. I should have did the vise from the very beginning. You could use the vise and just a soldering iron and then clean up the holes later, but whatever. It all worked out. So, well, the one thing I want to do real quick though is let's just make sure nothing's bridged. It's not supposed to be bridged. And I really recommend doing this. I do it all the time. Put your meter on continuity. Continuity basically means if point A and point B are connected, you get a beep. You guys hear that? And I'm just going to come through here. This should be connected though. These two should not. Then those two should. These two should, but these two should not. These two should not. Those should not be connected. They're not. Those should not. Not. Okay, those are all good. Not connected. Not connected. Not connected. Not connected. Not connected. No beeps. So here, so that was the header we replaced. So I think we did a good job there. And I'm just gonna go through here. This should not. I already tested these though. Not. These are connecting. These are all connected. These are all connected. And then these are not connected. Not connected. Not connected. Not connected. Not connected. So I think we're fine. Okay, we're good. But I strongly encourage you to do what I just did. Okay, it just really makes you slow down, for one, makes you look at the work again. I'm telling you, I've caught so much stuff just by doing what we just did, okay? Now, I was pretty confident we weren't going to find anything, but still, just the fact that we did it, you know, we might have discovered something. it really does, it really is a good idea to look at this stuff as much as you can before you plug it in. It really could save you a lot of time and headache. Alright, so let's... I sure hope I put the blank pin in the right spot. It was the 7th pin, right? Alright, so let's screw this down. And let's make all of our connections. So, this one goes like so. Here's our new connector here. Let's see how we look. Alright, so here's our new connector. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it was the 7th pin. And that thing just slides right on there. Look at that. There's my album art. Which one should I do? Should I do like this? Alright, was that good? Alright, here. That one goes there. This one's a little crispy. This one, this goes like this. I could tell that this was heating up here, guys. I could see it is. So we're gonna have to do this top one too, I think. I think this is gonna really fix the problem, but I think that this one here is a little toasty too, which is not good. And this, boy, this is dangerous. This can go on two ways here. It totally goes on like that. And then this one here. All right, so the big question is, did we fix it? All right, let's just double check our connections. All right, let's plug it in and see what happens. I gotta replace the battery too. So the big question here is, did we fix it? You know, I think we did, but I did notice that one connector, while it didn't look nearly as bad as the other connector, it didn't look great. So we're gonna have to replace that other one too at some point, and maybe I'll just do that on my own since we just did this one together. All right, I'm plugging the game in here. All right, the game's plugged in. So let's turn it on. Pull the molex. Top LED is off. Nope. I can see that right now. It's just, oh, there it goes. Wait, did I just do that? All right, so the problem is this connector too. We've got a problem with both connectors. Game should be booting right now. Let's see. Alright, so we have an issue with two connectors, so I actually have to do the other one too. It's the top one and it's that one right there. This thing is toasty too. Maybe, I don't know, it seems like it's kind of okay. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it right now. It seems better. I mean, the game's working. We definitely fixed something here, but I'm not convinced that that top connector is good. I think we really should do that one too. We're not going to do it in this video though. I think that we've done enough today to get us going, but I think long term I got to replace that other connector. And I'm not even sure, did I make that boot by wiggling that connector? I think I did. Now we reflowed, now, so that's off. I'm just gonna play around with this connector here. So we got 5 volts right away now. And I'm gonna double check my voltages. So I'm going to come in over here and grab ground right here. You guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna grab ground on this side here, and then try to grab 5 volts on the top right of this chip. 4.830. So it's a little low at the chip. And if I wiggle this, I'm just seeing if I can make the 5 volts change, and I really can't. So we're a little low at the chip. 4.8 is probably okay. 4.758. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna just let this go and see what happens, but I'm gonna replace that other connector on my own time later. But I think for now, it's better than it was. I suspect that it's not gonna reset anymore. I don't know. We'll see, but I kind of consider what we did tonight so I don't know what happened, but my camera stopped recording. So irritating. I don't even know where it left off, to be honest. But basically, we got our 5 volts again. I do think that this top connector is a little toasty, this one right here. And I'm not sure, I kind of wiggled it and it seemed like I made the 5 volts go away and come back. I did test a voltage at the chip over here and it was like a 4.8. So I was getting 4.8 on this chip right here. Now, mind you, there's a lot of resistance all the way to this board. So I think 4.8 is probably just fine, hopefully. So anyway, the game's working again. It boots fine. We got the 5 volt light, but I do think that what we did today is half the fix. I think long term I need to replace this connector and this header pin because that looked a little toasty. It really did, guys. But the game seems stable right now, so who knows? But I just kind of turned it on and got it into the factory settings here. I'm trying to put it on free play, which I think is that one right there. Left slot, center slot, right slot. Units required for bonus. I think that's free play. Let's see. Let's push advance. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It keeps stopping, and I think it's my SD card. It's irritating because I think it's recording and then it's not. That's not free play. All right, let's go back in the menu. So, pricing selection. Here it is, free play. Duh. Okay. Press advance. Alright, so now it's in free play. There we go. Alright, so we got... The game's working. I feel pretty confident. We're going to put it back in the hole. Matt McCarthy will be here in a minute. So I guess I accomplished my goal. I got it working. I kind of question the long-term viability, though, of what we did, though. I really do. So I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to push it back, and then Matt is literally walking in my house right now. So let me hear my dog barking. Matt's literally here right now. Thank God he was late. All right, hang on. All right, let's... How did I do, by the way? It's kind of rushing. I think we did okay. This thing is a pain in the butt, so we got to put the top one on first because I don't have the key. All right, let me button this thing up and put the game back, and we'll be right back. All right, so Matt's here. Hi, Matt.
Hey, what's up?
So, Matt, you're not aware of this, but I was doing this challenge.
Yeah.
I was challenging myself to fix this before you arrived.
Is it fixed?
Yes.
Nice.
It's not fixed all the way, I don't think, but it's fixed enough to be remotely good.
All right. Remotely good. What was wrong with it?
Well, there's basically 2 connectors on the power supply, and one was really burnt up, and one was kind of burnt up, and I replaced the really burnt up one. So I think it's going to be fine.
You didn't try it before we put it back?
No, I did. I did try it. So I tested it, but I don't know if it's going to work long term. You know, is it going to work for an hour? Is it going to work for 3 hours? Is it going to work for 15 minutes? I have no idea.
I like this sitting technique.
You do?
Yeah. The butt scooch.
So I'm going to turn the arcade on, and you want to play some Robotron?
Sure.
Might as well.
Yep.
So how you doing?
Good. Can't complain.
All right, let me go turn the arcade on.
All right.
And we got to plug Robotron in.
Yes. Where does that go, up here?
Yeah, it goes in any empty. Here, stand on this chair.
Yeah, I can manage it if I
Here.
Alright.
All right, I'm gonna turn the arcade on while you're doing that. What?
I said, alright. You good?
Is it on?
Yep.
Okay, so is it working still?
We should play Tapper too.
Well, let's play this. This is the Robotron video. Oh, RAM error. Come on. What?
Right? That's fine.
Wait, what's iRobot doing right now? There we go. All right.
How often would you say one of these games is screwed up when you turn it? Like once a day or once a month?
Not. Once I get them all working, they're usually good for a long time. It's really true.
Yeah.
But each game has its own little thing going on, you know, like I know Mad Planets every now and then it says that there's an error, but there's not. It says like ROM error, the game might not function right, and then it always functions right, and then if you reboot it, there's no error. So it's like they're like these false positives,
Yeah.
which could have happened right now with Robotron.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah.
But I guess there could be like missing sprites or something.
Yeah, but I bet you if we put it in the self-test right now, it's probably there's no error, so who knows? Let's see. All ROMs okay. Press advance to exit. So now it's doing the RAM test again. So let's see what it says. Did it pass? So it's testing the RAM. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know what it's doing.
Why
It's
does it have to paint to the screen so much to test that? I guess it's writing random dots and then checking that they're all
maybe
called from the right spots or something. I wonder what it does.
I really don't know. This is the carpet pattern, I guess they call it.
Wow. Yeah.
Is it really testing the RAM? What's going on here? Seems like it's stuck.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is this maybe the extensive RAM test?
Maybe. It does look like
Something's stuck.
conference room carpet. I mean, you know, like
No RAM errors detected.
good. There you go.
I advanced it. No CMOS errors.
I'm sure it's fine.
So I'm just going through the menu here. Blah, blah, blah. So I guess if you push this, then it goes through there. If you push this in, first it does this test. All ROMs okay. RAM test follows. Press advance to exit.
Yeah, you probably just know.
Oh, it just keeps going.
Let it
It's
run
like
once
it
or
burns.
twice and then yeah.
Oh, I get it. So you could let it just keep testing the RAM forever
see how many
until it
passes.
bombs out.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
You can like burn it in for a half hour to see if the RAM's really good or bad. So at any point you can just exit from this. I get it. Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of this. All right, so let's just play some Robotron.
All right.
We can get out of the menu system though. Are you good at Robotron?
Nope.
Yeah, you are. You're better than I am.
I occasionally have a good game, but I would not say I'm good.
I don't know, man. I think you're pretty good at a lot of these games.
I think so.
All right, let's play 2 players. We'll just play a game.
All right, ready?
See, look how good you are. So what do you think? Do you have a strategy?
No, I just run for my life. I don't know.
There's no strategy for you?
No, not for me. I'm sure for some people it is. I do try and take out those circles fast if I can. Those are annoying.
Yeah, those circles are horrible. So we get a free life, is it every 20,000? 25,000? What is it?
25, yeah.
It's 25. And I was playing Donkey Kong 3 the other day, and I was saying that's kind of the secret of that game, is you get in that zone where you're getting the free lives every 30,000 points.
All right.
And this game is similar. It's like if you can lock into the free life thing, you can own this game.
why you don't do that, because you just have to be able to clear certain board types.
Right.
In this though, sometimes you know, I'll die. And then get 0 points to die again.
Yeah, yeah.
Not escape the middle.
And of course, the secret to this game is getting all the humans. You got to get them because they start building their values. The first is like 1,000, the second's 2,000, the third's 3,000, right?
Yeah,
they keep going up.
5,000, so I'm gonna try and get as many as I can here.
And this level's critical because there's so many of those women.
Oh crud! And then I screwed it up.
Stay here so so you pick up my mic picks you up.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, not a good game because that level there with the brains, that's where you can get like, 100 grand or something if you
Yeah.
die on that level.
That level's critical.
Once you die, though, it resets the counter, so you can't get near as much. Oh, crud. I had to. Oops.
So
what,
you like
to
this?
see the score? 98.
Oh, 98,225 to 42,975. Are you?
We doing dollar?
No, we're not.
Dollar game?
No.
Why don't you ever want to do dollar game?
I'll do dollar a game at Donkey Kong later. Alright, here we go. Clean house.
Alright, so we're starting level 46,000. Let's see how you do. 64,000.
That level there, you can get like 2-3 lives, can't you? Or 2 at least? I don't know.
Yeah, you can get quite a bit. Look at that guy. You gotta be super aggressive with those tanks.
Yeah.
If you try and like run away from them, it's like they shoot way more shots at you.
Oh my god. So my game's over, Matt.
Yep. Oh man. Alright, one left. That's the level that kills me the most. Easy.
I hate those tanks. Those are the hardest thing possible.
Yeah. Whoops, didn't see that.
You got 1 life left.
Alright. If I can get to 150. Oh shoot. Oh man, 140. Alright. See?
Alright.
Not too good.
Well, the game works.
Yeah, works
Which was the
great.
purpose of this video.
Yeah.
I fixed it before you got here.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see what happens after a week or two, but the voltage at the board was like 4.8, which is a little bit low. I think I got a little bit more resistance on that one header, I don't know. What do you guys think? So the high scores were reset, so we have an opportunity to fill up the leaderboard. So all right, guys, that's gonna do it. That was just kind of quick little. Oh my God, I need to fix this before Matt gets here. Video. The last time I did one of those, I replaced a suicide battery in my Street Fighter.
Yeah, you're over at your desk. Yeah.
So, all right, guys, that's it. Matt, say hi.
Hi. Bye.
And by the way, yes, Matt's from the Kill Screens. Killscreens.com.
Yes.
We're gonna have a new album out sometime.
Yeah.
And a remix
Soon.
CD.
Very soon.
So anyway, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this little midweek video. Hope you enjoyed it, and so it's working for now. We'll see what happens. Time will tell. All right, guys, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and all that good stuff. All right, later and bye.